Hi everyone! Julie here today to talk to you about traveler's notebooks. Last year I kept 2 traveler's notebooks and I kept them for different reasons, and so this video I'm going to talk a little bit about what I've done in the album so far, what I did last summer, and I actually have some stuff that I'm finishing up this year too. So now it's time to get into my little summer joy book from last year. You can see I kept it really simple on the cover, just a single stamp. And as you'll see as we get into the book, I played around with a lot of different techniques. I really explored different things in this book, and I'm really happy about that. So let's get into it. Hi everyone, so here's my Summer Love album, and it's from Little Summer Joy from last summer. So you can see that I used the Moleskine Cahier size, which is a personal size. It's about 8 inches by 5 inches. So it's a slightly wider than the Midori. And you can see I just left the cover plain. I really do like the craft paper, so honestly this alone is enough for me. Just a little stamp that says Summer Love truly captures exactly what's in this book. And so we'll flip through. Here's my first page. And there's a 2015 stamp because it was done last year. And then a stamp that says this is what summer looks like. And that's from Studio Calico. It's an older stamp set. And so in these first pages, I like to, when I first start a book, to leave everything kind of blank. And so then I'll go back through and I'll add in papers that I like. And the only problem with this particular way of adding pages to a Moleskine book is that they don't really adhere very well. And so you look at this, like, see that it's not quite flush and it's not quite the right height, and then on top of it, every time I flip open the book it was like folding at the edge, so I had to add some washi tape. So I'm still working on that method because I really like the idea of adding in the mixed paper into a book, and I really like working inside the book, so it's kind of one of those things I'm still playing around with the right technique. And so this is another Studio Calico stamp, and this is a rub-on that I got years ago, and it's one of those things I'm afraid to use them all because I love the text and I love the way it comes on the page so nicely, and I can't find anything like them anymore, so I hoard them. It's another one of my favorite ways to hoard supplies. But I do save them for when I have a project that I know that I will truly use it and visually see it a lot. And then I just painted a little bit of a yellow circle around, watercolor circle around the stamp, just to give it a little bit more dimension, a little bit more something. And so I added this page, and this is one of my favorite patterned papers, and I put washi on the top and the bottom to kind of finish out the edges. And you can see again, like, this one doesn't stick up as much, but they definitely are not flush, and you have to just, if you have an inner perfectionist that would be driven nuts by that, I don't recommend adding these pages because that will happen. And then I just added, this is Hello stamp, that might be Kellie Stamps, it might not be, I'm not sure. And then I wrote summer underneath in thick letters. So this is my summer manifesto from last year. I wrote goals for this year, and then these little dots I drew in. And then this is like kind of my 2-line summary of what I wanted. It says, this is my summer manifesto. It's my favorite parts of summer and my dreams and goals and adventures all in one place. It's about the journey. And so I just wrote words, and I wrote them in different lines, intentionally like spacing them out so that I could fill them in different text styles as I went. And I like it. I think that it came out nice, but I liked it so much that I was afraid to like cross anything out or touch it. So I kind of left it, which goes against the point of having the summer manifesto. I think it's nice to be able to like actually work with it. Sorry, I just adjusted the lighting so that you can see it a little bit better. Let's see where we are here. There you go, there's your book. Okay, so this is a 2-page spread that I did about my yoga teacher training. Obviously I have that whole other book, so I don't need to write a lot about it, but I played around so much with this book that I kind of made some mistakes and choices that I wasn't in love with. I think, you know, as you go, your style kind of refines, and one of the things I love about pocket scrapbooking is that you can just pull things out of the pocket and put in a new one. In this, you can't actually really rip the pages out because it messes up the whole book. So instead, I covered this page with this paper and added in a picture and put a frame around it, a hand-drawn frame, and then another rub-on and some washi tape. And you can see, again, like that fold down the middle, something I'm working on. But honestly, I love the overall look of it so much that that doesn't bother me a lot. And you can see in this picture that my yoga notebook was with me the entire time. And again, it was like this, a craft brown cover for the entire summer. And I added the paper at the end of the summer. And so this is a painted quote that I actually painted onto cardstock, and then I cut it down to size and put it in this book. Because again, whatever was on this page, I just didn't love the way, I think it was a quote, and I just didn't love the way I painted it, so I repainted it. And that is obviously also an option available to you. And so here again, another piece of paper, some washi to really fix it into the paper. In the summertime is a Kellie Stamps stamp from last summer, and then Inspire is another rub-on, and then I just circled it. And then I used the paper, kind of matches the color of the quote, and here's another hand-painted quote. Beauty begins the moment you decide to be yourself. I love that quote by Coco Chanel. It's beautiful, and it's so inspiring and truly just awesome. So this is the bullet style journaling that I did to capture just basics of what we did every day during the summer. And so I cut out a piece of cardstock. Then I knew that I could fit at least 4 on each page because 4 and 4 is 8. So that would give me enough. And I added in this little stamp, and then I traced the cardstock. And I totally eyeballed it. Like, you can see that they're different heights. If I were to do it again, obviously, I would probably measure it out with pencil and then just erase the pencil afterwards. And then I hand wrote Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I used some stamps, and then this is my handwriting. And I liked mixing up the text. And then I added in this little card, some journaling, and some washi with another rub-on. And you can see, you know, like I really like adding stories into this, but I also just love the idea of knowing what we did every day. Like, that to me was kind of awesome. So this, for instance, this Tuesday was probably the 23rd, is the day that I made my mini book. I did a From Where I Stand day in the life, and I'll show that in a different video, but I really love that I know what day that was because it's in this book, and it kind of it ties the whole summer together, which is really cool. And so this is a 4x6 picture that I made a collage out of using the Project Life app. And then I wrote on cardstock, Camp Auntie Julie, because that's what we call our summer vacations. So every summer there's these 2 weeks in the beginning in June and 2 to 3 weeks in August where it's me and the boys all the time, because Caleb doesn't have any more camp and Max doesn't have any. Max just kind of goes along for the ride. He does have daycare if he wants it, but we go on adventures. We go to the city. We went on an island tour. We went to the beach. We went to the aquarium. It's really fun to capture all that. So this was our June Camp Auntie Julie. And then here's another rub-on. I'm like, oh, they're like old, and that's too bad. So I'm like trying to stamp it down, but like the truth is, like, I gotta fix that. And then this is a stamp. And so here's a 4x4 picture, so you can see the difference in size. And I was playing around with my hair in preparation for yoga teacher training because I knew that I would need to have it up, and I kind of wanted to play around with different styles so that it wasn't just a sweaty mess in a bun for 4 weeks. So this is a 4x4 picture of me. I added some washi and another rub-on, and then a little tag that I got from Studio Calico, and then a bunch of writing and some watercolor, which I think I did beforehand, and then I added the writing at the end. And so one of the ways that I added writing to this book was that I actually kept a piece of paper, a lined piece of paper that was just the right size and just the right line width. behind it, and then I would just write through the page, because these pages are a little bit thinner than like a standard Midori, so you can actually see through them. And so my text goes all the way down, and I kept it consistent. Even though my handwriting can be kind of all over the place when I want it to be, I made sure to keep it consistent so that it would have more of a visual effect, and I like that. And then I hand painted Adventure, another In the Summertime stamp from Kellie Stamps, and then this awesome little cork sticker, which you'll see a lot of in this book. It's from Mandy from Turquoise Avenue. And they're super cute, and they're perfect because they're flat and they're easy to put into the album. And so here's another bullet journal, and this time I kind of got into my stride with doing the bullet journaling. You can see there's only 6 here. I skipped a day. I skipped the day that was like the least interesting. I kind of did it every day. So here's week 2. There's the dates. I put some washi up top and down bottom, and then layered a second washi there. And then this is just my handwriting in those boxes. And I made sure to trace it a little bit more carefully this time. And again, it's awesome to have this record because I know what we did every day, which is crazy. It's just kind of awesome. And so this is me kind of exploring a little bit with watercolors and layering. This is, you know, obviously 4th of July. So I did some watercolor here, and then I layered it with some stamping and a little bit more watercolor like inside. And then I outlined it and added more stamping with white ink and blue ink and gold ink. And I like the effect of it. I'm not in love with it. I don't think it's my best work ever, but I had a lot of fun making this page. Really want to get into art journaling a lot more this year, so this is kind of like the beginning. And then I just made some little characters here, some little doodles. And I started out with pencil, and then I painted them, and then I went through with a white marker, white pen, and outlined them. And it's the outline that I think really makes a big difference. And you can see like how fun that is. Like, it's just fun. It's fun. There's like a beach towel, and that's the color of our beach towel, and like some little doodles. And then obviously journaling and what we did that day. And it's just kind of fun. It's fun how it came together. So here's another bullet of the week 3, and some more washi and a little element here. I mean, you can see again, you can play around with this. They don't have to be even, but if you have a day that you want to skip, then it makes it a little bit more fun because 7 is not an even number. So this page actually came out great, even though this one is also right along the edge. I think the reason that this paper looks nicer than the other papers is because this is thinner. So just a note, like if you want to add papers to your book, adding a thinner paper that's a little bit more flexible, it seems to fill in the book nicer. And so I really like how this came out. So I added just a simple rub on here. I'm gonna have to learn how to just write like this because I just really like those rub-ons. I'm obsessed with them, and they're way old and I can't find anything like them. And so I added in little 2x2 pictures. I made a collage with the Project Life app, cut them out and put them in here. So then I added in the stamps right here, here, and here. And those are all a stamp set from, I think, Studio L2E. And then I put in like a little pink stamp. This is an old one, I think from Studio Calico. And then I just put in some text and put lines underneath it, little messy lines. And I kind of like how that came out. So that's that page. So on this page, again, I put in a whole bunch of text. All these rub-ons are kind of falling off. One 4x6 picture that really captured that night, and then a stamp underneath and a little hand-drawn frame. I think the frame makes it look nice. If you're not gonna put scrapbook paper behind it, it gives it just a little bit more dimension, and some more watercolor text. And then I kind of divided up the page a little bit because I was playing around with different techniques and couldn't quite figure out how I wanted to get this to come together. And this was the night that I went out with my friends, and so here's a little bit about what we did. Here's another stamp, and then I kind of colored inside of it, again with watercolor. And then another bullet list of what we did. And I kind of played around, I mixed it up a little bit and changed how I did the days, but I really like how it came out with the extra color from the watercolor. And so this is week 4. And again, it's what we did every single day, which is really fun. And so more 2x2 pictures here, more stamps, And these stamps are kind of from a whole bunch of different kits, so I'll try to get everything together and write it here. And this page I'm really proud of. This is a single stamp. I'm pretty sure I got it from Michael's, and it's just a camera stamp. And so what I did is I went through and kind of created a pattern on one line and then just followed it throughout the entire page. So this is all stamped. And then I used cardstock to block out the line, block out this section, and then just stamped them around so it looks like it's inlaid, but really like the stamping is just around. And so I made this messy frame and put some text in here, and again, that In the Summertime stamp that I love so much from Kellie Stamps. And again, more frames here. I just like playing around with the idea of lines and handwritten text. And so this is where I start getting into more stamping. Again, I really loved how this technique came out. So this is the beach stamp from Kellie Stamps' summer stamp set from last year. And I love the dimension in this stamp. It in itself is gorgeous. But I also really liked this picture. And so it took me a few tries to get the right amount of spacing and sizing for me to put this text on here. And so I ended up printing this picture out a few times, so that happens. And then I put the messy frame around the outside, wrote this moment, and then again more repeating stamps. And then I used slightly different, I think these are all gray, and then I used 2 black stamps just to mix it up a little bit. And I love the effect of this page. But you can see in this, like now you can see how thin the paper is. And so that can be problematic, especially if you're a little bit more meticulous and about how things come out. And so here's again another bullet style, and this time I did all blues and greens to keep it a little bit more cohesive. But again, it's what we did every day. Your dates, week 5, some little banner stickers. I try to keep using the same set. So again, these are a set that I used in my yoga journal, and it's coming through here a few times. I tend to take a sticker set and then I'll just go through the entire book and try to find places for it to fit in. And so here's some more pictures, and this is a little bit more of a variety. I played around with different sizing and stuff like that. And again, more stamping, some handwriting, and an awesome Cork sticker from Mandy. And this is 2 pages of cardstock together. And so I wanted to add this in because it was Mandy's challenge from Little Summer Joy. And so I had made this 2-page spread, and it was just a little too busy for me. It was like too many little pictures, too much of the same happening. And so what I did was I added in this cardstock, and it's an envelope, so you can actually put stuff inside it if you want. I didn't, but you could put in like some extra journaling or just something that you didn't want to put out in the middle of the book. You could make this just awesome little pocket and stick it in. And so I added some washi, there's the sticker, and I affixed it, like I put these 2 together, and I affixed it with just some clear tape. And I love that. I just think it came out so great. So here's some more. This is actually like a little banner, and then I put another Turquoise Avenue Cork sticker on it and some stamping. And so here's another page. I made this graphic with the Paint Paper Studio app. It had come out last summer. And so I know Olya through friends and of Paint Paper Studio, and I really wanted to just play around with the app. I loved the concept, and Jodie York, who's a friend of mine, she did all of this text, and so did Kellie from Kellie Stamps. And so I really wanted to play around with like their work, like their text, their stamps. And so I did, and so I made that. And then I just put a little bit of washi and again another rub on underneath. And then on this page, so this is kind of cool. This paper is from my Get to Work book. You can see it says action items this week. It's upside down. And I had pulled it out because the Get to Work book is pretty thick, and I didn't use July or August at all in the book because I was way too busy. So I ended up ripping out all the pages that I didn't need, and then it was such nice paper that I used them to clean off my stamps after I was done stamping. So you can see like these are all stamps that I used, and then I would like stamp them here to clean it out. So I ended up liking the effect of it so much that I actually put it in my book. And used it as a background, and so it's the same size. I cut it to the size of the paper, and then I fixed it with some clear tape. And here's some washi, some Selfie washi. Oh my goodness, this washi is gorgeous. It's from Lora, and her last name is like Bakoliva or something like that. I'll post it. And then here's another sticker from Mandy, and this is a frame that I've had forever. And another "This is what summer looks like" stamp. So I really like how that came out because it's just kind of funky and different. Another bullet list. So this is week 6, and I think this is the last journaling that I did. Because after that it got kind of busy that summer. And so again, I added the color and the text, and that kind of became my format, and I really like how that came out. And then this is actually a story, and I don't think that I wrote, oh, I did write it. I wrote it on the next page. So this is just a picture of me watching a thunderstorm. It was a day that I was at teacher training, and I came home and everybody was out, so I got to have some time by myself, and I just put a messy frame around it, and I wrote summer traditions at the bottom, and then I wrote more about summer rain over here. And again, I played around with like watercolor, and honestly, like, I think I was too cautious here. Like, I want to make this page a little bit bigger, so I might go back through and just add a little bit more to it, because I think that it has a really cool effect. It just needs a little bit more splatter and a little bit more like boomness to it. And so after it dried, I went through with a pen and wrote more on it. And then over here I wrote some prompts for myself: listening, watching, feeling, thinking. And then I wrote all about me watching the thunderstorm. And so this is kind of like one of those more, it was just fun to write it. It was a fun journaling exercise. It was a fun way to tell that story. And then so here is again another piece of that same sticker set that I used throughout these 2 books. This is another picture of me, and I tried to use stamps as much as I could from this one set from Studio L2E. I really liked how they funky little words put together, and so I used them as often as I could, and then I filled in journaling in between. This is a card that I made with the Project Life app. In the Project Life app, you can pull in any card sets that you have, and you can print them. So I made a collage, and I included this card set, which is one of the Stampin' Up sets. And then over here, this is from Heidi Swapp's Favorite Things edition, which is one of my favorite editions, and I got it right around this time, so I stuck that in. And this is a picture of my husband and I going out for our anniversary, and so it says, "Enjoy the little things in life." And this is a picture that I took when we were out at our anniversary dinner, and then I hand painted love and just some messy lines. And that's most of the book. So you have like this quick quote here: "Be the best at being you." And this was just kind of like a way for me to like reference yoga teacher training in this book. And so I have a messy frame here and some text, and I wrote, "This is me." And it was me like trying to, like, I had a knot in my side and I was trying to stretch it out, and I got caught by a friend. So I've been adding, this is the second to last page, but I'm definitely going to add more to fill in the rest of this book because there are more things to say. But here I wrote, "Summer is making tents for fun, even on school days, making time for ice cream, last minute barbecues with friends, eating lunch in the grass, reading for fun, seeing adventure everywhere you go, and finding joy in the littlest moments." And so I use little stickers here, put the picture in a handwritten frame, and then I put watercolor around it with a sticker. And then here's another Heidi Swapp Favorite Things edition, and then another sticker from that sticker set. And then here I used a subway map because we love riding the train. The boys love riding the train in Boston, and so we make a point to go on adventures in the city just so that they have the opportunity to ride the train. I wrote about it here. I also took the train for yoga teacher training because my studio was in the city. So that's just a little story that I could add to the book. And so that's the book. And so there's obviously a lot of room left for me to write in and add some pictures too. And I have a lot of stuff that I want to do. And I wrote it all down on sticky notes and put the sticky notes there they go. So I picked out the pictures already. I just need to edit them, pick the sizes, print them out, and then start building the last few pages of this book. And I'm really excited to share a flip through once it's done. So that's my book. So that's my book. And at the end, you can see that I have 25 extra pages left, and that's single pages in the book. And that's 25 pages that don't have anything in them right now. And again, I could be done. I don't have to add anything else to this book. But looking back through my pictures from last summer, and looking back through last summer's Little Summer Joy challenges, there's definitely a few things that got missed. And I know why they got missed. At the end of the summer last year, we had Week in the Life. And so I recorded a ton about our lives, and it really wasn't necessary to add it to this book. And then the other thing was that I made a separate book, a Project Life intensive 10-page book on our summer. And so I took a lot of the pictures that I would be using in this book and a lot of the stories that I would have told, and I put it all in this Project Life app book, which is gorgeous, but it does take away some of the content from this. And I try not to repeat too much in any one place, but that doesn't mean that I can't inject a little bit of both of those things in here. And I really do want to do that. I want to close it out. I want to feel like this is a true capture of our summer, and I'm not quite there yet. And so that's what I'm doing in these next 2 weeks before this year's Little Summer Joy starts. And I'm so excited about it because I feel like I get this new opportunity to play with techniques and do it in a way that's like there's no consequences. If I don't like it, it doesn't matter because it's just going away and it's getting put in my shelf. And maybe I just won't look at it as much. Who cares? It's still gonna have all of these awesome memories in it, and it's still gonna have all of some of my favorite things. And so that's where I stand with it. So I'm so excited to show you guys the process, and thank you so much for watching this video. And stay tuned because there's so much more to come.